near me. There's 700 horses of man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
And we are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I am Zach Chapman, part of Shaggy TV, and well, we're here live at Eldora Speedway. Big shout out to Mauer Farm Management for the sponsor this season, and well, we got a pretty good field of cars. 13 guys there. A different Mr. Chapman showing up on the dirt this week. Last week we had Blake's dad. This week we have my dad showing up for a little dirt racing, so should be an exciting night here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. And you know, with that, here we're going to talk a little bit about the points. This is race number 8 here at Eldora this week. Right now, Pat Boyce is at the top of the points chart. He's got 459. Right on his tails is Jeffrey Barker with 454. Bob DeGood rounds out the top 3 with 397, but I do want to give an honorable mention to old Smokey Terry Landis there, P4. He's done one less race than everyone, and he's sitting at 395. So 2 points behind Bob DeGood. I was never really good at math here, but let's try to figure this out. 64 points behind Pat Boyce right now. That's me doing that on the fly, so Pat has 459, Terry has 395. Do the math to verify if you feel the need to. But basically what I'm saying is I believe they'll have at least one drop week. All of our series normally do. Not sure if the retreads do drops or not. Can't really remember off the top of my head. But if they do, Terry Landis, the man right now at the top of the practice charts, he may have something to say when it comes to this point lead, but right now, let's see here. Hopefully he won't get too mad at me. Let's move him up here. Hey, Pat, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I do, if you can hear me.
Yeah, man, I hear you. And right now, I'm not sure, Pat, how much you focus on this stuff, but right now, man, you're the point leader. A little over halfway in the season. You think you got what it takes here to close this thing out?
I don't know. There's so many good drivers in here. It's just hard to tell.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, when you got guys like Terry Landis and Jeff Barker behind you, man, speaks to the season you've had, and you've done a phenomenal job. And well, Pat, right now P2. What do you think, man? You doing any dance here to get a good qualifying draw? A good start in the heat since you guys don't qualify. What's the luck charm here?
I just go with it. Whatever it comes up.
Yeah, man, that's what you got to do. But you've done great so far, Pat. Hopefully we don't give you the commentator's curse here, and hopefully we're talking to you on the podium here tonight, man. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Shaggy.
And I'll move you back home here, Pat, once I scroll down far enough, I promise. There we go. Got Pat down there, and yes, I did move Pat to the right spot. Sorry, just had to double check. Discord's pretty big here. That's Pat Boyce, and just cool, calm, and collected. But that's what you got to do here. I mean, if you're gonna come in here high strung, you're gonna make mistakes, and you just got to try to relax and be smooth. And it looks like he's got that attitude here tonight. Hopefully, it carries over through the whole evening, and he doesn't run into any trouble here. As right now we're watching Bill Calder. Whoa! He knew we went up into that camera there. He gave us a good shot, did Bill? Let's see if he does it again. No, I got to get a little sideways here, but Bill Calder, always good to have Bill out here on the track in that 325. He's improved a lot over the seasons, and especially in some of that asphalt. He's gotten really close to winning some restrictor plate races, and I think a win's on the horizon for this 325 here before we know it. Right now, qualifying should be coming up here in a couple minutes. They'll, excuse me, lost my train of thought. They'll run through a driver's meeting here. And, just make sure everybody that's supposed to be in this session is here. Sometimes real life stuff does happen, and you know how that goes. So try to wait for everybody, make sure they get here, and make sure there's no problems. There's Gary Sigelkow, too. He, right there, middle of the charts. He's P6 right now. That's another guy who I didn't look very well here at this list, but oh wait, no, Gary, okay, he does have 7 starts, but still there in the P5 realm. I see Steve Bixler. Now, if they have 2 drop weeks, Steve Bixler is at 320 points, but he's missed 2 races, so Steven is gonna need a little help if they don't get the 2 drop weeks. And another man who's missed 2 races already is the Bassman, Roger Craig, and I do not see Roger Craig on the current entry list. I am a liar. Roger Craig actually must have just registered. You guys do not see him yet because the Bassman has not put in a time yet in the 747, but right now him and Steve Maurer in their lone room here. Steve Maurer in the 888 coming to a stop on the front stretch. Let's see, there is Roger Craig. Get a view of him on pit road. So the Bassman must feel ready, must feel good about tonight. Not gonna put in any laps here in practice. He's just gonna show up and go racing here. And speaking of showing up and going racing, it's time to go racing here. Let's look at the starting grid here for heat race number 1. Starting on the pole, we have the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, and to his outside in the 37, Tim Chapman. Inside of row number 2 in the 41 machine, we've got the current points leader, Pat Boyce, and to his outside in the 014, GJ Greg Boydell. Inside of row number 3, we've got the Bass Man in the 747, Roger Craig, and to his outside, the Mayor, Steven Bixler. Rounding out the field, the man who we were just talking about, currently 5th in points. This guy, Gary Sigelkow in the 25. So, Gary, your points climb is not going to get any easier here. As you got to come through the field in the heat if you want to have a good starting spot. And right now, Terry Landis just looking for a good launch here on the start. Got to think Tim Chapman in the 37 is going to take it easy here, but the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Let's play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. The Desert Demon, Terry Landis with a good jump. Tim Chapman, like I say, just kind of trying to stay out of the way. Gets pancaked a little bit as he was in the middle, 3 wide, and no harm, no foul. Everybody else rolls on. That's exactly what Terry Landis wanted. Big time lead for him is the current points leader is feeling pressure now from the Bassman, Roger Craig. As the Bassman throws a slide job, can't complete it. That's Tim Chapman on the inside trying to get in the pits. Roger Craig still battling hard for P2. Back at the battle for the final transfer spot. Well, I guess everybody's actually going to make it tonight. So used to that final transfer spot being important, that P4. But everybody's going to make it here tonight as... Right now, Steven Bixler, he's on rails up on the top. If he could just stay smooth. Yeah, here he comes. He's trying to put some pressure on the Bassman. Going to throw a big move. Not clear, but he made himself clear as Roger Craig. Really going to pay for that one. Going to lose 1-2 spots now to Greg Boydell. Up front, Terry Landis. Big time lead. No pressure from this man in the 41. The current points leader. White flag in the air. Final time around. Battle is on for P3. Steve Bixler trying to hold off GJ Boydell in the 014 as they go through 3 and 4 for the final time. Greg Boydell with a big slider. Checkered flag out for Terry Landis. P2 Pat Boys. Greg Boydell does get P3 from the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Roger Craig, P5. Gary Sigelkow, 6th. And Tim Chapman rounding out the field. Good race here to start out heat race number 1. If you're out there in the chat, let us know who you're rooting for here tonight. That's for sure. Definitely always interested to hear that, but you guys are a little interested in something else, and it's probably this starting grid here for heat race number 2 as they're getting ready to go racing. So let's read it off here. Starting on the pole, the 302 of John Rayner and his outside in the 94 machine, Gary Offit. Inside of row number 2, the 888 of Steve Maurer and his outside in the 7, Bob DeGood. Inside of row number 3, we've got the 325 of Bill Calder and his outside the 4 of Greg Parmalee. Rounding out the field tonight, they're making a little contact here. The 63 of Shaker Gerdeman, but the green flag is high. It should be ready to fly as we go through 3 and 4 here. Pace car is off. Final heat race of the night, heat race number 2. Going to decide the out. Is right now they are battling hard for the lead, having a little hiccup here, but Steve Maurer's not on the bottom, up 2 spots. Your new leader, Gary Offit, goes around John Rayner, who's hard in the wall. Bob DeGood in the 7 tries to get around. Bob DeGood up to P3. John Rayner sinking like a rock in a pond here. Down 4 spots right now as the 4 of Greg Parmalee battles low on the bottom, 3 wide, trying to get around him and Bob DeGood. Can he go 2 for 1? He's going to get it done. Up front, Steve Maurer Starting to feel a little heat now from that 94. Gary Offit goes around the outside, and he's going to get it done. New leader with 2 to go, the 94 of Gary Offit. Gary's got a lot of speed around the outside of Eldora right now. It's going to take a madman to beat him. As the white flag is high in the air one more time around. Oh, Steve Maurer feeling the heat from Greg Parmalee. They're 3 wide coming through 4. Who is going to get it at the line? Gary Offit wins. Steve Maurer takes P2, followed by Greg Parmalee, Bob DeGood, John Rayner, Shaker Gerderman, and Bill Calder. What a finish there in heat race number 2. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these quick messages. Stick around.
Raceway. They're
And we are back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over a minute left here in warm-ups, and well, you guys have a little better view than I do, but at the top of the charts right now, the Desert Demon Terry Landis with quick time. Right behind him, the points leader, Pat Boyce, and real close behind him, Greg Boydell. So definitely gonna be good, tight racing here in the features. You know, it does kind of turn into a slide or die here track, especially through 3 and 4. So you're gonna have to make sure you got the belts pulled tight, and if somebody throws one at you, you gotta get on the brakes. You gotta counter back. Not gonna be easy here. As you see right now in turn 2, guys running different lines there. Bill running a real different line up there through 1 and 2. Is that Terry Landis there coming through at the end, kind of with the more common line in that yellow car. We're gonna sit in turn 4 here. Pat Boyce running the bottom, and that's just where you see the guy at the top and the guy in second. Pretty close. There comes Terry on the bottom. Terry experimenting with all different lines here. That's it. Warm-up clock is done, and we're going to get ready here to grid up for tonight's feature event. We'll see you. There we go. Starting on the pole tonight, the 161, the Desert Demon, Old Smoky, Terry Landis, and is outside in the 94, Gary Offit. Inside of row number 2, the 41 of Pat Boyce, and is outside in the 888, Steve Maurer. Greg Boydell rolls off on the inside of row number 3 and is outside in the 4 Machine. We've got Greg Parmalee. Excuse me. Inside of row number 4 is the 75 of Steven Bixler, and to his outside is the 7 of Bob DeGood. Inside of row number 5, you see it, the Bassman, Roger Craig, and the 747 into his outside in the 302, John Rayner. Gary Sigelkow rolls off on the inside of row number 6 and his outside, old Bill Calder. Running out the field tonight, we've got Tim Chapman, who I believe did not make the call here, and supposed to be to his outside was Shaker Gerdeman, but like I say, does not look like Tim Chapman made the grid here this evening. As we're going to go around one more time here, give the guys a little bit of time to warm up the motors. And we will be 1 to green this time by. As they get ready to go 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 here at Eldora Speedway, one of the fastest tracks we'll come to all season. And I do not look for this to disappoint as the pace car dives down. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Let's play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. Terry Landis with a great jump out front, really able to extend his lead. But right now, Steve Maurer and Steve Bixler side by side. Steve Bixler trying to get by, trying to make a little room. Greg Boydell trying to make it 3 wide under Pat Boyce and Gary Offit as they are running hard on the second lap here at Eldora. Terry Landis just running that rim right now, but Greg Boydell running the inside hard, but we have a caution out. Greg Parmalee, I believe, is the car involved. Let's see if we can get a better view. Greg Parmalee here in the 4. See if we can go to the Chapman Racing drone here. Steve Maurer in the 888 looks to be coming down the track a little bit, but he did straighten it out, and then, you know, maybe Greg just didn't realize that he didn't have a lot of room, and you saw it. Greg kind of just floated up, and, well, that was kind of his own doing here. Let's see if we can get a good view of it coming out of 3. Is there you see him coming out of the corner? Yep, you can just see Greg come up the track. Round hard into the inside backstretch wall, but able to keep on rolling and be able to go in there and use that quick repair if he feels like he needs to. But no harm, no foul there for the 888 of Steve Maurer. Shouldn't have gotten any damage from that. Should be able to keep going just fine. That's actually a great view of it here. Doesn't look like he suffered any damage on that 888. Terry Landis out front's going to choose the bottom here on the restart. Not really much of a surprise here. The Desert Demon, kind of known as a catfisher, likes to run that bottom, and if there's some tack there on a restart, that man's going to find it and he's going to use it. So looks like to be a little tack there on the bottom of 3 especially. So Terry Landis with the green flag high. He's going to bring us back to racing here at Eldora Speedway. 22 laps to go here for the 161. Oh, Bob DeGood contact with Steve Maurer, I believe. Steve Maurer hard in the wall. He's going to have to come to a stop here. No caution yet, as they're going to keep on racing. So Steve Maurer, tough break for him. But Greg Boydell in the 014, he looks to get back on that, get up to the podium spot here. But caution is out. Oh, no. There's nobody else involved there. I believe that's a late caution thrown for the Steve Maurer incident. And according to my software, it agrees with me here. So they probably threw it not really knowing. Let's take a look what happened. So he kind of just turns down as Bob's coming up, and both fighting for the same real estate there. Steve Maurer hard into the wall. That left front looks to be broke. Probably why he couldn't turn that well. Yeah, you can see it rattling. It's bouncing there a little bit. Let's watch it try to turn in. Yeah, and I mean, it won't even really turn. You're seeing it stay straight. So what's he really supposed to do? He sat there, wanted the caution. Caution never came, and well, then you got to get going. The leaders are coming, so rocking a hard place. But me personally, I think he did the correct thing there. Did Steve Maurer? But I'm just the broadcaster, so what do I really know, or what does it even matter what I think here? I know Terry Landis is thinking he just needs another good start here. Going to have 21 laps to go. Still a long time. Remember, this is only a 25-lap feature. 2 cautions already, so Terry probably just wants this thing to settle down, get in a rhythm, try to gap the guys, and, you know, try to take it easy on that right rear, but he's got to be able to build up a little bit of a gap before he can even think about taking it easy here as the pace lights are off. One more time around at Eldora Speedway. Once again, early enough, let us know in the chat who you're out there rooting for. Please give us a like, a subscribe, hop on over to Shaggy TV, give my feed a like if you don't mind. But the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Here's the pace car, dives off, coming out of 4. The Desert Demon, Terry Landis, looks for another good start, and, well, he found one. Greg Boydell trying to go back to the outside here, trying to take over P3, and right now coming off a 2, he looks to have it. Right behind him, Bob DeGood going to the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. As he's on the outside of the mare, Steve Bixler, too close to call at the line, but I think give it to Bob. He's in the wall hard now. Bob DeGood just needing to settle down here out front. Needs to get in a rhythm, but Terry Landis, no time to save right rear for that guy, as he has a mirror full of the 014 of Greg Boydell. Let's go on board with the man. He looks low, can't complete the pass coming out of 2. Gonna send it in high into 3 and 4. You see how close Terry gets to that outside wall. Unbelievable, really flirting with disaster up there. Greg not willing to go as high, and you're seeing it pay off for the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Just look at that gap down the backstretch. Shaker Gerdeman up 6 spots from the start of the race, up to P8. With Greg Parmalee trying to fire back at him in the 4. Remember, Greg Parmalee involved in an accident early, trying to make up all these spots. Greg Parmalee's going to get a good run coming out of 4, but just not enough. Back to the front, Greg Boydell not able to make any distance up. But Steve Bixler, slowly but surely, been closing the gap on Gary Offit here. Gary Offit started 2nd, down to 4th. So just trying to hang on to where he is right now, probably hoping for a little track change. Try to get back to the podium, but right now Gary Offit looking for some speed. But look at this battle for the lead. What happened to the Desert Demon? We are not going to go back and look right now as Greg Boydell pinches Terry up into the wall. He tries to hang on to it. Able to keep going, but let's go back and let's take a look at what happened here early on. So Terry Landis, Greg Boydell's just coming, just hooking up on the top. It looked like good clean pass. Let's keep watching it out here though, as we see Terry's up top, and I mean, maybe Greg didn't know he was there, but Terry was there. And you see you got 2 guys fighting for the same space here. Let's go back live. There's actually caution is out here. Shaker Gerdeman and possibly John Rayner. So let's go back. Let's take a look at the Shaker Gerdeman here. That looks to be the 888 of Steve Maurer. It is just slight contact, but enough to send the 63 around, who does a 360 and keeps on rolling. You gotta think the Desert Demon Terry Landis here. How does that car feel? Does it feel good? Does it feel damaged? Well, you know, if you're wondering, so am I. And Terry told me before, anytime I want to bring him up, I'm welcome to. So this is your fault, Terry. Shaggy up in the booth, man. What's going on?
Hey, buddy. Man, this track's nuts.
I'll tell you what, man. How's the car feeling after getting in the wall? Does it feel good?
Oh, no, it made it push horrible. I had to put my wing back front a little bit.
Well,
So it'll
Terry,
be fun.
you got what? We're going to have 10 to go here, right? So, man, hang on, brother. I'm trying to talk to you here after this one.
All right, bro.
All right, go get him. That's Terry Landis right now. Your current leader is, you heard him, he said it tightened up, and I guarantee it did. You know, that right front got in the wall really hard. May not look like it were virtual. Well, look at it. You can see the right front bowed out towards the wall. That's the view right there. So no wonder it's tight as it's steering right while you're going down the backstretch. That is going to be a tough one for Terry to hang on as the current points leader of Pat Boyce in the 41, chomping at the bit to get around that 161. And, you know, this man, Greg Boydell, if not for a little hiccup there with Terry Landis, excuse me, wrong camera, he may be the leader. He showed a lot of speed, but just didn't necessarily, you know, have the racecraft up there and got into it there with Terry. Like I say, that may have been, you know, no mirror. I don't think Greg runs a mirror, so he probably didn't know Terry was up there, but just didn't realize, like, hey, if I leave that lane open, a guy might go up there. And, well, he ended up paying for it, but he's going to have another chance here. With the field bunched back up, 10 to go. With the speed that 014 had, he could definitely try it again here. And it says 10 to go, but remember, it's going to change. There we go. I'm a psychic. Changes back to 11. We're going to have 10 to go here at the green flag. So this will be, actually, they're going single file here. 3 cautions. So that is why we're single file. I was going to say this is the last double file restart, but we're done with double file restarts. Pace car is off. Terry Landis looks to bring us to the green flag here for hopefully the final time. And, well, excellent jump here is right now Roger Craig with a pretty good jump, but he's feeling pressure on the outside from the 7 of Bob the Good. Roger Craig trying to send it in hard there in the middle, trying to get it to stick. Just too loose on exit, and he's going to lose the spot to Bob the Good. That boys. P2. Can he get a run on Terry Landis? Terry Landis right now with a 1.2, make it 1.5 second lead here at the line with a damaged race car. Terry Landis right now on a rocket ship as the mayor looks to take flight into his rocket ship. He lit the fuse as he runs the wall here at Eldora. Bringing a lot of speed here at the Big E is Steven Bixler. Let's watch him rip the lip here through 2. Hard into 3, just as hard here, right up against the wall on the entry of 4. And Steven Bixler is coming hard, and, well, he doesn't have to go any harder here because right now, caution is out. Steve Bixler gets to catch back up to the field, or gets to catch back up to your leader, as it looks like problems for the 63 of Shaker Gerderman. Okay, so we see the problems. Bill Calder and those guys made a little contact in front of him. So we are going to go to what we think happened here. Let's ride with Bill here. So Bill tightens up in the middle of 3 and 4, washes up, gets loose as Steve tries to go down. Greg tries to follow him. Not enough room. Back up in front of Shaker, and big wreck here on the front stretch at Eldora. This is exactly what this man didn't want here. He's got a damaged race car. He's got to be feeling nervous because this man has also told me I could bring him up whenever I wanted to. Steve Bixler, you got to be feeling good, man. That guy out in front of you's got some damage, and you're right behind him. Can you steal this one, Steve?
Well, I tell you what, I don't know, Shaggy. You know, you're dealing with a Hall of Famer up here, so he's pretty tough, even with an injured car. So we'll see what happens. But
He's definitely tough, but you can't sleep on you here, Steve. The lights aren't off. You're not going green this time, are you?
yeah, we're going green.
Okay, here, I'm going to let you go. Good luck.
Thanks, Shaggy.
'Cause that is bad broadcasting by me. I didn't realize there were one to go. Steve, I love you. You know I would never do that on purpose to you. As he feels the pressure now from the 41 of Pat Boyce's. Pat Boyce with a little hiccup though on entry. Still enough speed to get around. Terry Land is so smooth on the bottom. Let's just watch this here. He's the only one. There we go. There's Greg. But nobody else running the bottom like he is right now. And Steve Bixler able to get back to the high side here. Going to try to make that thing sing coming out of 2. And boy, is he ever. But he taps the wall. As you hear the wall playing a little music. Steve Bixler with a big run. Going to counter down. Can he look for a slide drop through 1 and 2? Not going to have enough to get it this time as he's got to go back to the wall here. Really shredding up in those Hershey Kisses. The mare's got some speed, but he's running out of time. 2 sticks in the air, 2 to go this time. Pat Boyce slowly reeling in. Terry Landis has that lead down to 7/10 here, but the white flag is high as they come through 3 and 4. Final time around Eldora Speedway. Battle is on for that final podium spot. Gary Offit trying to get to the mare, Steven Bixler, but coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. Terry Landis is going to be your feature winner once again, followed by the 41 of Pat Boyce. Steven Bixler holds on to the 3rd and final podium spot. Gary Offit 4th, GJ Boydell 5th, Bob DeGood 6th, the Bassman 7th, Steve Maurer 8th, Greg Parmalee 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Shaker Gerdeman. Good race here as we'll try to bring up the official results there. Those are the bottom 4. Gary Offit, Bill Calder, John Rayner, and Tim Chapman not making the grid here, or making the call to grid here tonight. But good, hard race in there for those bottom 2 podium spots is, man, the story up front. Terry Landis dominating and never looking back in that 161 machine. And you know, right now, before this is probably where we darned him a little bit. Maybe got him flustered, couldn't get to the high side, and this is the moment where Steve Bixler lost that 2nd place spot and just wasn't able to go back and get it Pat Boyce here, but I'm going to give these guys a minute or 2 here to catch their breath, and well, we'll pull them up here one by one. You know what? Actually, right now, Terry is the only one up here, so we'll do it a little differently. We're going to start with the winner here tonight. Terry Landis. Man, anytime you get in this dirt thing, yeah, I mean, you're a contender if you don't get into it. And, you know, when you go back and watch this thing, threw it in the turn 3 camera there with like 4 or 5 laps to go. You're the only guy doing it on the bottom, man. Just how are you doing it? Like, I mean, you're that much quicker and arguably on the slower part of the track, man. Just how do you do it?
Well, actually, when I stuffed it into the wall that one time, it really put a push in the car, so it made it really work down in 3 and 4.
Hey, you know, sometimes you gotta like that, right? I mean,
I know.
Tightens you up, or sometimes in asphalt you can get that little bit of damage that makes you loose and helps the car turn. But man. You know,
Yeah.
you take it how you can get it, and I mean,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
you were battling hard with Boydell there, and no harm, no foul. I don't think he did it intentionally, and you definitely didn't do anything wrong there. That's just good, tough
No.
racing.
Yeah, it was just a good, clean, good race. When, but yeah, it was fun. I like, you can't relax with these guys. You gotta stay with elbows up every damn lap.
No, you really do. And I mean, if there's a little
And
gap
that's
at the
fun.
same time, you got to go for it. So you got to make sure you don't
Yeah.
leave the gap. And at the same time, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody in front of you leaves the gap, you got to go for it.
Yep.
And Terry,
Exactly.
that's exactly
Exactly.
what you did. And it got you the win here tonight, man. So congratulations. Big win. Who you want to thank?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, Mauer Farm Management for doing all this for us, or we wouldn't be here, and then you too for doing it, or we wouldn't be here either. And then Kreitz and Yoo-Hoo, Kreitz Oval Track Parts and Galen's Homegrown Popcorn, and Epson Sprint Wraps, and my wife Judy. And I don't think I forgot anyone.
No, but I'm gonna go back there a little bit to your middle thank you. Dude, how about Kreitz, man? I'm right down the road from Fayetteville. How awesome was that, seeing them qualify
know,
like that
right?
at Knoxville? It's good to see the 69K still got some speed in that thing. That's
I
for sure.
know. And yeah, and that's a bunch of old guys working on that team. I'm 60 years old, and they're like 3, 4 years older than me, so they're getting it done.
Yeah, man, just shows it's all about what's in the mind, right? You can't replace
Yeah.
that experience. And
Oh, and their
Terry,
crew chief, shout out to David Brown Jr. I mean, he's the best crew chief ever to walk the earth, I think. He's been doing crew chiefing since there was dirt, and he has so many wins. You don't even know how many wins he has. It's crazy.
yeah, he could set up a car for Port Royal or Williams Grove in his
Oh.
sleep, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
But big win here, man. Look to talk to you again after this asphalt one.
Yeah, we'll try to do it against Charlotte.
All right,
Thanks, Aggie.
that's Terry Landis. You're a winner here tonight. And now we're going to bring up the man who finished P2. Pat, you got a big jump there on that final restart and able to take away P2, but just not enough time to run down Terry. Do you think you had anything for him? You were slowly closing on him there when you'd hit your marks.
I could get up to him, but he's so good down low, down along that bottom. It's like I just doubt if I had enough.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he told us after he got in the wall a little bit, it actually made the car handle a little better on the bottom. So one of those little tips and tricks where you get lucky sometimes. But, you were up there just daredeviling it on the outside. Talk to us about how hard it is to ride that lip and just be consistent.
When it gets narrow like that and your right rear is like probably inches away from the wall, it's hard. It is tough.
Well, Pat, P2 here tonight, man. That's going to look real good there for the points. Is another solid night here. You got to feel good about it, man. Who do you want to thank on that second place?
I want to thank you for the broadcast, Shaggy. I want to thank Mauer Farm Management. I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing League for putting all this on. And I'd also like to thank Salty Dog Racing Team. And everybody out. That's pretty much it.
Well, good run there, Pat. That's a big second place, man. We're going to see you here in the trucks next.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a whirl.
All right, man. Looking forward to it. Good luck. Hopefully I'm talking to you again.
All right. Thank you.
That's Pat Boyce, your P2 finisher. And now we're going to bring up the man who, well, Steve, let me have it. I probably screwed you on that restart. I didn't know you were one to go. I'm sorry.
No, it was the announcer's curse there, Shaggy. You knew that. So, no, I spun the wheel. I spun the wheels on the restart, and Pat got a good run there on the outside. And when the librarian got in front of me there, and we were going down the backstretch, I caught the wall a little bit, so then I had to play catch up, And I thought if I could have gotten a rhythm there again, like I was before, I'd have a shot at him. But I hit the slick and was spinning the tires. I just kind of hanging on to what I had, I guess.
Yeah, it was perfect timing from you there, Steve. Right as you said that, we watched the replay actually of you touching the wall going down the backstretch, and we know that can be enough to just make the car handle it a little different. And then after that, you kind of had to think about just playing defense there from Gary, as couldn't really go back to work on the 41. But all in all, great run, Steve. Good points night, man. That should put you up pretty close here to the top 3, locking you in there here coming towards the end, but you gotta think, man, a win's coming here, right, Steve?
I'd hope so anyway, but you get beat by the old Desert Demon there, and he's pretty tough. So, like I said before, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. So, you run with these guys, and they're good runners. All these guys were equal in talent, I would say. So it makes it a lot of fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it definitely is all about fun, man. And at the end of the day, good, hard, fun race here. Good podium, P3. Steve, who you want to thank?
Well, I got to thank, of course, you, Shaggy, for stepping up and doing the broadcast. I really appreciate that. Flatline Racing Bodies, of course, Mauer Farm Management, Steve's Custom Golf Clubs, and that's about it. I guess Salty Dogs, of course, they're always fun to be in the room with. So it makes a lot of fun. We have a good time.
Well, good run here, Steve. Looking forward to see what you can do here in the closing races, man. His points championship definitely isn't out of the picture here yet. So good luck, man.
All right. Thanks, Shaggy.
That's Steve Bixley, your P3 finisher. And with that, we are going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, change a little stuff up, and we're going to be back with the trucks at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So make sure you stick around. This is the place to be for virtual racing here tonight on the iRacing. So we'll be right back, probably 5-10 minutes. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get tonight when we talked about it.
was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for Old Timers Tuesday, presented by Mauer Farm Management. We are at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A little truck series action, and we got 13 guys right here, got times in. 14 in the room. Greg Boydell has yet to put a time in. So not too sure what that will be. Like if he is going to be racing here. Actually, I believe there he is. Maybe involved in an accident. So Greg is going to put in a time, is here. But right now, the man at the top of the speed charts is this guy. Mike Cramner in the 70. Tim Chapman behind him, and John Rayner rounding out the top 3. Should be a pretty good run here tonight at Charlotte. Let's see, where is he? Getting ready to go into the pits. He's gonna do a little disappearing magic act, and everybody right now is sitting on pit road. Nobody's out driving around. Nobody wants to make my job a little easier. Is probably getting a little driver's meeting here before they get ready to go out and qualify. So I won't, oh man, look at that. Doesn't that throw back a little nostalgia? Look at the speed sign. I never noticed that. Oh man, good old Speed TV. Very cool. Very cool. But there, you see the cars disappear. We are going to roll into qualifying. And well, with that, keep a look at the bottom of your screen here. You guys know the drill by now. Green is your personal best sector. Purple's the best out of anyone in the room. Yellow, no good. Yellow is worse than your personal best. So looks like right now, watching Steve Mauer, he's pretty much everyone actually pulled off at the same time. You're seeing the names of the guys at the bottom who have pulled off. But we'll just stick around here with the 888 of Steve Mauer here for the opener. Comes down the backstretch. You see that blue cone there coming out of 2 at the top of your screen. It's gone now, but that was when they can enter back up on the above the white line there, coming on the backstretch. Comes out of 4. looking to take the green flag. Going to run that middle line through 1 and 2, and something, you know, he definitely didn't want to float up that high. That's going to be a little mistake there. He's going to want to run the high side in 3 and 4, at least middle to high end, come back at it here for a good lap number 2. Let's see who does get the pole here as they come around. Right now, Steve Maurer with quick time. Pat Boyce in the 41 right now, actually quick time. He takes it over. Right around with Pat Boyce here for his second and final lap. Pat Boyce, let's look for a color here as he comes around to see if he improved on Sector 1. He's not up yet. Not gonna get to see it, but Roger quickest in Sector 2. You see there with a purple. That moves the Bassman to the top of the charts, but not for long. Gary Offit in the 94 says move on over, and Mike Cramner says, Shaggy, save your breath. I wasn't done qualifying yet. Mike Cramner at the top of the charts. John Rayner, purple in Sector 1. Green, Sector 2. That moves him up to P2. We are seeing guys hop all around the charts here. But right now, Mike Cramner is your pole sitter. This is his second and final lap. Can he get better? He does get better in Sector 1. Fastest in Sector 2. This lap will improve. And he's going to go to a 28.95. Mike Cramner really showing his pace here. 10th and a half faster than the rest of the field as Tim Chapman comes through 3 and 4 on his final lap. He runs out of time here, I believe. Yeah, ran out of time in qualifying. Or maybe having a little bit of connection issues, possibly as Tim Chapman. Tim Chapman may have ran into a connection issue. If that's the case, that would be a tough break. Because I did not see him finish his lap, and it is still green, so everyone else was still out there. Tim Chapman with a possible connection issue. But Mike Cramner with quick time, a 10th and a half faster than second through fourth. Big time speed out of that 70 machine. Because right now we'll just stay up here in the blimp for a little bit until we roll into the race here. Everybody's done qualifying. If Tim Chapman did indeed lose connection, they're probably going to let this thing go the whole time here in qualifying and try to let him rejoin, as I imagine that's what we're seeing. So with that, I'm going to mute me real quick and take a quick drink. So give me a couple seconds here. And in a few minutes, we'll be going live here with Truck Series action at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And there, truthfully, I was doing a little bit of homework. I'd forgot to keep this page up. Terry Landis, your current Retreads Asphalt point leader here with 711 points. And Gary Sigelkow with the same amount of races run, almost 80 points behind the Desert Demon. So Terry Landis with a convincing point lead at the moment. And it does look like you see him there in that 37. Tim Chapman was able to reconnect. So he's going to make the grid, and with that, let's bring up the starting grid. Your pole sitter with that really fast time there. Mike Cramner with the 29.890. John Rayner to his outside in the 302. Inside of row number 2, Gary Offit in the 94. And to his outside, Roger Craig, the Bassman. Inside of row number 3, the 888 of Steve Maurer. And to his outside, the 014 of Greg Boydell. Inside of row number 4, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. And to his outside, the Mayor, Steven Bixler. Inside of row number 4, we have the 41 of, or row number 5, excuse me, we have the 41 of Pat Boyce, and it is outside the 63 of Shaker Gerdeman. Inside of row number 6, we have the 25 of Gary Sigelkow, and it is outside in the 37, Tim Chapman. Rounding out the field tonight in row number 7, we have Bill Calder in the 325 on the inside, and it is outside in the 4 machine, Greg Parmalee. Mike Cramner with that big-time qualifying lap, looking to really back it up here in the race. So right now, Mike Cramner knows that 25 of Gary Sigelkow, he'll come with a lot of speed. Roger Craig knows how to wheel these things around. Greg Boydell behind him, there's a lot of guys that could flirt with winning this thing. So 30 laps, you got to be on your marks. Can't open up that bottom. And, well, you know, it may not go green flag here the whole time, but you got to plan on it. Oh, never mind. I jinxed him. I said you got to plan on it, but Greg Boydell spun here before the race even starts, as he's got to try to whip it around and get back to the front. Not sure if, I believe that was Steve Maurer who got into Greg. This is going to make for quite the interesting start here. They're going to actually extend it here, let everybody get re-tightened up. That's probably the move here. Is here with 1 degree, and we'll just, you know, give you a little sights of the cameras we're going to be using here. At the middle of 1 and 2 here. Coming out of 2, you see those lights are off, so we are going to go green here. Mike Cramner can go when he sees the green flag here, as all starts are on green here in Coast to Coast. So this is the one time where if you're the 302 of John Rayner, you know, you can get the even start. You got to do whatever you can do here to try to pinch that 70 down, try to take this lead early, as Mike Cramner, if he gets out front, he is going to be tough to get around. But the green flag is high. It is ready to fly here as we go racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 30 laps. Here we go. There we go. We see Roger Craig already in that Steve King Foundation pace truck. Look at him up there. P3 up 1 spot, able to go around Gary Offit, who's down 2 spots. Roger Craig with a big run down the backstretch, looking to possibly go low on the 302 of John Rayner. Not enough room. Goes up. Takes a little bit of air off the 302. The 302. Oh! Hard into the inside wall for the Bassman Roger Craig. You got to think that the motor blew there. Caution is out. And, man, I don't know if he is going to make it back. He is probably going to have to tow. We watched all that happen here. We don't have a good spot So we're going to have to go back a little further than that, okay? Let's find Roger here. See if we can go into a better camera. So there you see, he goes up the track. That kind of freaks out John. And, you know, believe it or not, when he countered up and then goes back to catch it, that's what makes the car get loose. He's able to catch it. Roger had to lift. Gets help from the 014 of Greg Boydell and hard into the water trough. Very hard. And that one is going to hurt for the Bassman Roger Craig. Let's go. Let's see if we can get on board in time here. Just a little late. Let's see here. Set this up a different way. Give me just a second here. I would like to get a good look at this crash from Roger. Let's watch at full speed. He's turning right. Oh! You can hear it there. Motor gives out. Roger had to tow, and it's going to be hard for him to get back into this one without a caution or two to get him back on the lead lap. Is Mike Cramner out front just watching the laps tick away here at Charlotte. He doesn't care how he leads them as long as he's leading them here, that's for sure. Wondering, you know, there's a pretty big gap. I don't see a pace car in front of him. Too sure where that sucker is here. I think they're all starting to speed up a little bit. I do not have a pace car button. Here's actually, let's get a little bit of, you'll get a little bit of iRacing Insider here. So here is the pace car. Lights are still on. Here they come. Now they're catching up. Couldn't tell if we were... It threw me off there. I couldn't tell if we were 1 to green, but Mike Cramner, it just looks like he's skipping a little bit. Maybe they're trying to give him a little bit of room. Try to let the little bit of lag work itself out. But, you know, that's one of those things that we see it happen to some people under caution. Not a big deal. Unless it's happening under green, and it's only a real big deal if it's happening under green if it's ever so often. If a guy's blinking once every 10 or 15 laps, got to kind of get over it. But if it's constant, I mean, that's the struggle. But no big deal for the 70 of Mike Cramner. No harm, no foul yet. Greg Boydell, you see that thing did look nicked up a little bit on the side. Let's see if we can get a better view. May have just been the shading there. Or no, there you go. You see it in front of that left rear tire. It is scuffed up from that early contact. So Greg with probably a car that's not at a full 100% right now. As we'll go green this time by... as the cars enter turn 3. Mike Cramner will control the start this time, so big advantage here to the 70 of Mike Cramner. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Anytime in that box, you'll see Mike Cramner fire, and here we go, back racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Greg Boydell in the 014 trying to strike early. Here as he looks low on the 302, trying to complete the pass for P2. Coming down the backstretch, the 302 is going to get a good run off the high side, and this is where, yeah, he's just going to get a little help from the 70 with some draft, and, well, he's going to take back over P2. But right now, back here in the field, these guys are going hard. Gary Sigelkow on the outside of, I believe, oh, we're seeing guys wreck here. Mike Cramner had to dive off to the inside. race. Tim Chapman, the big beneficiary of that, up 5 spots now, up to P7. Those guys getting in that little shakeup, he was able to just sneak right on through and roll by. And speaking of trying to roll on by, here comes that 63 of Shaker Gerderman up to P2. He's got a loose Greg Boydell behind him, just trying to hang on. Greg Boydell with that damage on that left side, you know, it will run different in the air. And when he has a car get up behind him or gets behind the car, may make that thing a little loose. And there you see it. He had to catch it coming off the corner. Real loose car right now for Greg Boydell. And you got to think the man who, oh, there we go, talking about getting loose. Can he save it? Oh, hooks the 94. Tim Chapman gets pounded. Oh, big wreck. Big wreck. Man, oh man, oh man. Lot to diagnose there. Let's go back and see if we can get a good view of this. Man, they were wrecking for a while here at Charlotte. Let's go up and see if we can find Greg Boydell here. So he's already lost it at this point. Let's go a little further back here. As we're going to go into an aerial cam here. Let's get that Chapman Racing drone up. Let's follow Greg Boydell here. I believe this is the corner. So you could tell he was loose coming off of 2. Those guys behind him got a big run, and he just tries to dive off the top, cranks in a little too much wheel. And it just goes around. Nothing the 94 can really do. And we are going to try to stick in this camera. You're watching these guys, Greg catches it. Oh, and then here's where it goes bad for the 94. Hard right in front of the 75 of Steve Bixler. Steve Bixler in a lot of trouble there. Tim Chapman slowing down. Gary Sigelkow just not on the binders quick enough. Hard into the back of Tim Chapman. He gets into the outside wall. Oh, the 888 of Steve Maurer and Greg Boydell. You see them getting into the outside wall up there. Does Bill Calder sneak through? Looks like Bill Calder does sneak through. This man, Steve Bixler, Steve Maurer. Not so lucky here as we had a big one early at Charlotte. You know, this is one of those deals where actually, if you're like Tim or Greg, Gary, you gotta try to see the good in this. I know it's really hard, but you gotta see the good in this. The front 4 haven't pit yet. Now, no, we haven't run a lot of laps, but you're on newer stuff than them, so you gotta take advantage of it. You can drive a little more aggressive than they probably feel they can, and you know, this is a chance to make up some of those spots here. As we go back through, as Terry Landis and Pat Boyce wait for the pace car. You know, I'm being bad. I didn't make any of my picks here to win. I didn't do it in the dirt, and I forgot to do it in here, but I'm going to pick the 63 of Shaker Gerderman here. I think he's got a lot of pace. He's the first car that pit, and I like what I see out of that 63. Going down the backstretch here, pace lights are still on. If we get another caution here, we'll pull up a driver. Love those driver interviews, but for right now, we'll just let everything settle down, as a lot of guys involved in that accident will let heads cool and see if they can calm down and get back to racing here. As we'll probably get the 1 to green this time by. We'll see if they click those blinking yellow lights off here. Because right now, I do believe, looking at my software, it looks like everybody is able to get back on the lead lap. Roger Craig back on the lead lap after getting hard into the inside wall on that Steve King Foundation pace truck. Good to see that thing back out here. As we will double up, we are going to go green this time by. See that? Pace lights are off. Shaker Gerdeman, first guy on new tires. There in that 63 machine. Everybody from him on back has gotten tires. Roger Craig, actually, last pit lap, number 2. He was driving around getting his laps back there. He did not pit, so the 747 basically on full race tires here. 302 of John Rayner. He's your leader, and he's going to be able to set the pace here as we get ready to take the green flag. The 302 machine lined up beside that Yoo-Hoo machine as the pace car is off. Anytime in that white box appearing on your screen, that leader can fire. As John Rayner hammers down, and he gets a great jump over Terry Landis as you watch him dip, dodge, dive, duck, and dodge going down the front straightaway. 302 with a good jump. Terry Landis feeling the pressure here from the 41 of Pat Boyce as we'll watch him fan out going down the backstretch here. Shaker Gerdeman. That was that first guy on new tires, but all of a sudden starting on the outside here, Greg Parmalee was beside him. He is now that first man on new tires in the 25. 4th place outside looking in on the podium. It's Gary Sigelkow feeling the pressure from the 4 of Greg Parmalee, throws a block, and well, that opens up the door here for Shaker Gerdeman on the inside. Shaker Gerdeman, my pick to win. All he needed was a little look there, and he's going to try to go for it. Gary Sigelkow going to defend hard on the outside. Going to get a better exit here as Shaker's got a lift here as he closes up, tries to pull a little side draft, wants to stay beside the 25. 25 not giving him a lot of room right now. Shaker felt a little uncomfortable there, had to get out of it. Now advantage. Gary Sigelkow on advantage to the 63 here of Shaker Gerdeman as Greg Parmalee gets loose coming off a 2 and gets into the 63 hard as Shaker Gerdeman. He's going to want to come in and get a new set of sneakers after that one. Let's go back and see if we can get a good look at this here. This probably won't be far enough, but actually that would have been far enough here if I had a decent camera. Let's try this again. So yeah, he's floating up right as the 4 is coming down. They meet, and tough break for the 63 here. Does get into the wall. Not too hard. He'll be able to fix that here under caution, but definitely not what he wanted here. Is he gets the commentator's curse. The old dreaded commentator's curse. Let's see here. Do they get the 1 to green? Let's see if they get the 1 to green here. They do not, so let's see if we can plug away at somebody's brain here. You know what? I have yet to do this. We'll let's find somebody we haven't pulled up yet this season here. So a couple guys in Discord spotting for people. My apologies. So I see people in here that aren't actually racing. right now. You know what? Let's bring up the Bass Man. He's always fun. He always is a good time here. Hey, Roger, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, yes, sir.
Well, hey, man. Wild ride there in the Steve King Foundation base truck in that first caution, man. How did that go about, man? You just got loose there on cold tires?
Yeah, but yeah. I was on cold tires. That was the main cause of that for sure.
yeah, but he wanted to keep you out of trouble there. But hey, man, all in all, there's half the race here to go. You think you got a truck that can get to the front here?
Well, because of its retreads league, I got my 4 laps back. So yeah, I'm on lead lap and see how things go.
Well, hey, man, looking forward to watching you climb through the field here. Good luck, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That's Roger Craig. I may have cut him off a little early there. I thought I wanted to get him back here. They're 1 to green. I wasn't doing that again. I didn't mean to cut you off, Roger. My apologies. But I wasn't Steve Bixlering somebody again. Okay, never mind. They weren't even 1 to green, so I could have kept jawing at him, actually. I thought they were getting ready to go 1 to green as I lost track here. But now you gotta keep an eye on. Okay, so Shaker Gerdeman, he was the car we probably just heard screaming off the pits there. No, he wasn't. But he did pit the most recently here on lap 16. It's going to be a minefield to try to work his way through here if he wants to go for the climb. But that 63 shouldn't have much trouble getting back up to the top 5 if he can keep that nose clean with those fresh tires. So gotta see what the 63 has under that hood here. As the driver's gonna go, they're gonna start doubling up here, so they think we're getting the 1 to green. They know better than I do. I'll take their word for it. I expect those lights to click off in about 1 second. There we go. Look at that. Just got to have faith. Just got to have faith in the drivers. That's all. There's John Rayner right now. Got the pace out front. Let's take a look here. There's John Rayner won a race this season in the asphalt retreads. According to the points, he has not. So John Rayner looking for his first win of the season. Actually, Terry Landis has won 4 times. Roland Olson won in his 1 and only appearance. Gary Sigelkow has won 2 races as well. So 3 winners this season. So there are a lot of guys. 3 in the top 5 there looking for their first win of the season. Definitely a lot of hungry sharks here chomping at the bit. Got to keep your eye on that 25, though, right now. He's got to be the betting favorite here. He's the closest guy towards the front with new tires. Not going to be easy as he's got the 37 behind him of Tim Chapman. He's on new tires as well, but got to be smart. And with that 25, he knows how to run aggressive. That's for sure. As the pace car will dive off, we're going to have 11 laps to go here. Anytime in this white box here, the 302 can go, and he gets on it now. Good jump here already in front of Terry Landis. Good restart. Oh, Tim Chapman jockeying out of position there. Maybe feeling a little pressure from behind from the 014 of Greg Boydell up in front of him. Terry Landis trying to get an outside line going, but right now the closest battle on the track here is actually move on over. Is Terry Landis going to battle here for P2? He's not got to fall back in line. Tim Chapman able to prevail on Greg Boydell and Shaker Gerdeman. Let's see what he can do on the new tires. Nowhere so far. Not able to pass anyone that opening lap as he looks to the inside of the 70. Terry Landis falls back to P3 as the 41 of Pat Boyce able to get around. And, well, we got another caution here. And I believe it's the man with new tires Oh, yeah, it was. So him and Mike Cramner got together. Let's see what happened here. Shakers on that inside line. Does come up a little bit, but man, the 70 did not leave him a lot of room. Let's try to see if we can maybe get a better view of this. Hang with me here for a second. You see the 63, I mean, he doesn't really come off the line much. Not much more he can do there. Doesn't get a lot of room. And well, when you're racing in the back, Shaker probably thinks he's going to get a little more room than that. It was able to hang on to it, but not before a caution comes out. And oh, Bill Calder couldn't well up in time. He's going to tap the outside wall. You know, we've seen it happen before, and I know the time's coming up. I'm not sure if they, you know what? We're going to get a little iRacing Insider here. We're going to look for ourselves. Elapsed time, 26. Oh, okay. Plenty of time here left, right? Plenty of time. Only 27 minutes elapsed in the race. They extended the time. Plenty of time. Time should not be an issue here tonight. Should get all of these laps in 100%, and possibly a green-white checkered if they have it set up that way. Should be plenty of time. Shouldn't be cut short here this evening, which is good to know. You know, we mentioned Pat Boyce able to get around Terry Landis. Terry Landis knows he's got that points lead by a big margin. He doesn't want to do anything dumb and give up a race here and, you know, possibly get involved in an accident that moves him way back in the field. As he is just trying to hang on to that final podium spot for another great points run. Is that 161 slowly but surely sinking his teeth into that asphalt championship trophy. I believe we'll get the 1 to green this time. Don't hold me to that. The drivers are starting to double up, so I'm gonna trust them here. Pace light should click off before this thing goes out of view. They do. As we'll double up here, and we're only gonna have 6 laps left here of racing, so if you want to be able to battle for this lead, you need the guys behind you to behave. We've seen time and time again. An advantage almost to the guys staying out, not pitting, as cautions have been an issue. Leads to the lack of being able to pass here in the race. But right now, Gary Siegelkow, if he's got any advantage left in those tires at all, he's got to use them here as he's running out of time. Greg Parmalee in that 4, right to the inside of him there in that gray car, well, a row behind him. He is on old tires here, has not pit, is on original tires along with the front 3. So 4 out of the top 5 right now are on original tires, showing that, you know, without a long green flag run, it's not a huge advantage to go in there and get tires. Roll through 3 and 4 here for the final time before we get the green flag once again. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Whenever the 302 hits the hammer, we're going to go dancing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we got 6 laps left to go to find our winner. As they are battling hard here for that final podium spot. Gary Sigelkow around the outside of Terry Landis, trying to get around the outside of Pat Boyce, but he taps the wall. It's going to slow down his run, but he's going to get it all back here coming out of 2 as he tries to sneak up on the outside of the 41. He's able to do so. Here they make contact going down the backstretch. The 41 of Pat Boyce goes up and rubs the 25. Gary Sigelkow using up those new sneakers for every ounce they have here as he is running hard on the high side. 4 to go. He's got plenty of time to get around that 302 of John Rayner if he just stays calm. Drivers fan out going down the backstretch. They know they're running out of time. You got to try to get that run. You got to make a move. Gary Sigelkow going to go to the top shelf here. They're running hard behind him as Terry Landis put the big boy pants on. Big run coming out of 4. Gary Sigelkow not giving him a lot of room, and I'm telling you, they're going to wreck. And there's Terry Landis in the outside wall. Tim Chapman, he can't think about lifting. Not a lot of time left. 3 to go here. He wants a podium spot. Tried to look low. Had the 41 of Pat Boyce there. Couldn't look low. It's open now if he wants it. Terry Landis goes down and shuts the door. The 37 overdrives the entry a little bit. Trying to get a big run here. Going to counter low. Looks low on the 161. Not able to get there as they enter turn 1. 2 to go. John Rayner out front, holding off the 25 of Gary Sigelkow as they come down the backstretch for the second to last time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Coming through 3 and 4. The flagman's getting the white flag in his hand. Tim Chapman with possibly a little bump and run there on Gary Sigelkow. He moves up the P2, his white flag in the air. This is the final time around. John Rayner in that 302. He has been the man all night out front, not looking back here at all. Oh, big one down the backstretch. Gary Sigelkow hard into the wall. Greg Parmalee in there as well. Checkered flag in the air. Your winner, the 302 of John Rayner with his first win of the season. The 37 of Tim Chapman brings home P2. And the third and final podium spot goes to Pat Boyce. Mike Cramner P4. Greg Boydell rounds out the top 5. And, well, we'll bring you up the rest of your finishing order here as soon as I can do that. Is they're still trying to finish here. Let's see here. Let's try and pull this up. So there you see your winner, John Rayner. Second place, Tim Chapman, Pat Boyce, Mike Cramner, Greg Boydell, Steve Bixler, Gary Offit, Shaker Gerdeman, Roger Craig, and Bill Calder rounds out the top 10. Your final 4 finishers, Terry Landis, Steve Maurer, Greg Parmalee, and Gary Sigelkow. We will give these guys a quick moment to catch their breath. And we will be right back here. Just give me a second or two. Oh, my apologies if that was heard in the background. Dog was getting a little out of control here, so had to go and try and put that foot down a little bit, but gave these guys a moment to catch their breath, and now we'll see if this man in the 41 has had a chance to make it up after I make this disappear. There we go. And we're going to get you a nice little view of that car here, the 41 of Pat Boyce, or truck, excuse me. We're going to bring that man up in the 41. Hey, Pat Boyce, Shaggy in the booth, man, you got a copy?
I got you.
Hey, man, big P3 there at the end. Those last 2 laps had to be exciting. Talk about them.
I really don't remember much. I know, I think Terry and somebody else got just a little bit high, and it gave me enough room to sneak by. But I really didn't know if I was going to make it.
Yeah, no, I mean you made it work down there on the bottom. You just kind of followed Tim Chapman there on by, and
Yep.
you got that P3 to work. But after that hard battle in there, you kind of just had to hang on to P3 there at the end as you kind of ran out of time. But good run for that 41 here, Pat, and you're the points leader there in the dirt, and you stand a chance here in the asphalt if Terry Landis has a couple hiccups. And speaking of, didn't finish in the top 10 tonight. So good points night for you, man. Who you want to thank?
I want to thank the broadcast. I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing League, Salty Dog Racing Team, and all the drivers that show up for this. It's a blast.
Well, hell of a run, Pat. 2 podiums tonight, man. Great job.
Thank you.
That's your P3 finisher, Pat Boyce. And with that, we'll bring up our P2 finisher here, Tim Chapman in the 37. Hey, Tim, it's your son, Shaggy. You got a copy? Are you clicking the correct Discord?
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. See, I knew the issue. Well, that last 2 laps, man, it got exciting. Talk to us about that move there on, Gary Sigelcow. Did you have to lay the bumper to him there? Was that a little bump and run?
No, actually, they got crossed up there in front of me, and and things just fell right. And I was saving tires, and I pitted that one time. I don't think those guys did with like 10 laps. So I had good tires, and I was about wide open the whole time. Yeah,
Gary was the only one there who had pit with you, and well, we're watching the move there now. Yeah, I guess Gary did slip up a little bit. Maybe you just bumped him a tad, but not enough to do anything, just enough to get the spot done. And all in all, man, you've been a pretty frustrating year. You've been involved in a lot of accidents, but finally able to seal the deal here with a good P2 finish. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank Roger and the league, for all the work. Everybody, all the volunteers, everything they do, and thank you for doing the broadcast. And the Gambler guys, when I'm on with them, they put up with me.
All right. Well, good run here, Dad. Big P2 finish. Hopefully you can carry it on into next week. Congratulations.
Oh, and it was nice to see JR win.
Yeah. John Rayner. He's a good man. But good P2 there. We'll talk to you hopefully again next week. Take it easy.
Thanks.
That's your P2 finisher, Tim Chapman. And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour who, John, maybe didn't lead those opening couple laps, but man, once you got that lead, it was yours. This thing was hooked up. Talk to us about this hot rod.
Yeah, you're right, Shaggy. I got fortunate after the first couple of laps there. I was able to get into first place. So each caution, of course, I had the advantage of starting in the Cogeco line there. So I had a little bit of advantage there, and being in front like that, it certainly helps because when there's incidents happening, they're all behind you. So that helped a lot too. But as you know, there's a lot of really good skilled drivers out there. I was fortunate enough to stay ahead of the Desert Dog and certainly Pat Boyce and Tim Chapman. They were pushed me pretty hard there, but I tried to keep the corners as close as I could and keep the pedal to the metal. It's a lot of fun.
I muted myself by accident. The only guy who beat you on lap time there was Tim Chapman, and that was at the end. He had fresh tires, so less fuel, fresh tires. That's the recipe. But John, man, you had a fast car, second fastest lap. Other than that, you really showed your dominance here at Charlotte, and you're able to pull in the first win of the season here in the retreads, man. So it's gotta feel good. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, no, I was happy to finish that race in first spot there. It's been seemed like a little time before that's happened, but thank you for that. But yeah, I'd like to certainly thank the sponsor of the race, Mauer Farm Management. and our Salty Dogs racing team. Always a great bunch of guys to race with. And Roger Craig for having the Coast to Coast Racing League. Without that, we wouldn't be enjoying all this, would we? So, and Shaggy, thank you very much for broadcasting these races. That means a lot as well.
Well, hey, man, I sound like a broken record here, but, a little bit of caution's there in the beginning. But when you guys put on good racing like that there at the end, makes my job easy, John. So I love doing this. You guys did a great job and fantastic job on the win tonight, man. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Shaggy. You have a great night, eh?
Yep, you too, John. And that's going to be your winner in the 302, John Rayner. And with that, we're going to wrap it up this evening here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. This was all brought to you by Mauer Farm Management. Couldn't do any of it without them. All the guys at the Coast to Coast Racing Network, like John Rayner said, Roger Craig especially, guys like Jeff Barker, Patrick Spangler, they are the gears that make this thing run smoothly. Without those, I know. And here I missed probably the most important one, Bill Calder. I mean, that guy, he's the unsung hero through everything he's been through. He just keeps it all together. And I mean, without that guy, without Bill Calder, I'm sure Roger would admit to that. I don't know how long this league would have lasted. So hats off to those four guys especially. Couldn't do it without you. So lucky to be a part of this good vibes here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. But with that, I'm Zach Chapman signing off here with Shaggy TV. Join me tomorrow night here for a little Hometown Heroes racing action. We'll go live around 7:20, 7:30. I'll probably hop in that street stock and race it again tomorrow. I had a lot of fun last week, so no guarantee on that street stock broadcast. But like I say, have a good evening here. Thanks for joining us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Take it easy.